All right, let's start our WebSocket implementation now. So the first thing we need to do is to create a WebSocket config class. All right, so this is where we are going to have our WebSocket configurations. So let's create it. So we are going to annotate it with *configuration, and then *enable WebSocket WebSocket message broker. Then this is going to implement WebSocket message broker configurer, right? Then let's override this method. *override. We're going to say public void configure message broker. Yes, configure message broker. All right, so we are going to, it's going to take a message broker registry. All right, registry. So we're going to say registry dot enable a simple broker. So we are going to say the first destination should be /q. All right, so the next is going to be /topic. All right, then we are going to say registry dot set up user destination prefix. No, let's do application prefix first. Registry dot set application destination prefix. All right, it's going to be /app. Then we are going to do registry dot set user destination prefix, and we are going to specify the user. All right, that's the first method. So the next method we are going to override is this *override. Then we are going to say public void register stomp endpoints. So it is going to take stomp endpoint registry. So let's say registry. Okay, there is an S here, stomp endpoints. Good. Then we are going to say registry dot add endpoints. So we are going to say /chat, because this will be the entering points for the WebSocket communication. So we are going to say dot set allowed origin pattern. All right, so we are going to say all. We are allowing all origin. We could easily have specified the front end URL, like if it is something like let's say localhost, maybe the front end running on localhost 2020, we can specify it there, but I just want to allow all origin. Then we are going to say dot with sock.js, just fall back to sock.js. all right, in case. So the next functionality we'll have here is we are going to override this this last method, override. We are going to say public void configure clients inbound channel. This is inbound channel, like this. Configure clients inbound channel. Okay, I just want to be sure. So it is going to take an idea of channel registration. Say channel registration. Yeah, channel registration. All right, so we're going to say registration dot execute. I think we are using no, this is interceptor. Registration dot interceptor. All right, so we are going to pass an interceptor here. So we are going to create that interceptor. So the function of this interceptor is this interceptor will be in charge of intercepting the token, because in the front end we are going to ensure that whatever message that we are sending from this the front end via WebSocket is going to be authenticated. All right, so this interceptor will be in charge of intercepting this request and actually verifying the token for this request before allowing the message to come through to the backend. So let's say private final. Let's just pass this here, what channel interceptor. So All right, so let's create this. So this is going to be a security class. All right, we are going to create it in the security package, because this will handle security. All right, so let's start our auth channel interceptor implementation. First of all, we are going to make this a component, a thread component. Then also let's implement the channel interceptor here. We're going to implement a channel interceptor. Yes, implement the interface. Then the next thing, let's say private static final logger. We need to log some values to see what is actually coming from the front end, from the client. So we're going to say logger factory dot get logger. So let's say auth interceptor dot class. Right, so after that we want to also inject our JWT service here, because we are going to be using it to extract token and also the username. Let's say JWT service, JWT service. So let's add this to the constructor. All right, so all right, now let's override the present method. Let's say attribute override public. All right, so let's import. So the first thing we want to do, we want to say message header accessor dot get accessor. So we want to say get accessor. All right, we are going to pass in the message, and then we are going to pass in STOMP header accessor dot class. All right, so this is going to return the STOMP header accessor. So we want to say if accessor is equals to null. All right, so we just return message. So now let's get the next thing is for us to get STOMP command. So we are going to say accessor dot get command. All right, so it's going to return the stop command. So let's make sure that the command is not equals to null. Let's say if our command is equals to null. All right, or STOMP command dot connected dot equals. All right, dot equals command. So let's return message. All right, so let's get the token now. So we are going to say accessor dot get first native header. All right, so we are going to pass authorization. Okay, so this is supposed to return string token. That's a token with which we are making the request from the front end. So let's be sure that the token is present. Let's just log the token. We are going to say if token is not equals to null. All right, so we want to say logger dot info. Let's say authorization token is present. All right, so let's just log the token. All right, so that's it. So let's proceed. We are now going to say if STOMP command dot connect dot equals command. So we want to say if the token is equals to null, or if the token, or if not, token does start with bearer. So we want to throw an exception, throw new authentication credentials not found exception. Yeah, so let's say credentials not found. All right, so let's now extract the token. All right, we're going to remove this bearer, all right, plus this space, then we'll extract the token, then we'll validate the token. So we are going to say our token will be equals to token dot substring 7, so pass 7 like this. All right, so we're going to say if, so let's validate the token. If not jwt service dot validate token, all right, passing the token. So we want to throw an exception if the token is not valid. Throw new bad, let's say bad credential exception, then we'll say invalid token. All right, the next thing is for us to extract the username and the rows from the token. So we're going to say jwt service dot extract username, so we'll just pass in the token, right? So we're going to get the username, so username, then let's also extract the rows. We are going to say jwt service dot extract rows, so we'll pass in the token. I said we pass in the token, and then it should return the rows. Let's just call this rows like this. So now that we have extracted the token and the role, so the next thing we need to do is to set this username into Spring context. All right, let's set it to the security context so that this user will be the logged in user. So Spring will recognize this user as being an authenticated user. So we're going to say new username password. So we are going to pass in the username. All right, so say null for the password because it won't be necessary. Username pass null, then we are going to set the rows, pass the rows. So let's extract this. All right, call it auth. All right, then we can now say accessor the set user. All right, so set it like this. So let's return a message. So we can just add a log here, say logger.info. So the authenticated user then we'll pass in the user. So this is the authenticated user. All right, so let's also check. We are going to say if stomp dot send dot equals command or stomp dot subscribe dot equals command. That's the command being entered. If it is or any of this, we want to check if the user, so we can just say accessor, let's get the user, accessor.get user, right? We want to see if the principal user is available in the security context. All right, so we are going to say if user is equals to null. All right, so we are going to throw new authentication credential exception not authenticated. All right, so let's add the catch. You know, we are doing a try catch here, so let's add the catch here. So let's catch exception. So first of all, let's say logger dot error. We are going to say stomp command failed. All right, so passing the command, and then we'll say ex dot get message like this. So let's throw, we can throw a new message delivery exception. Then we can say authentication failed. All right, then we can say ex dot no, I think, okay, sorry, this is where we are returning. We can return the message here, so I can just return the message here. Return message. You can remove this. All right, so this is okay now. All right, we are done with WebSocket configuration, and we have also implemented hot channel interceptor that will handle WebSocket security implementation. All right, so the next thing we need to do is to do the actual WebSocket implementation. All right, guys, so the next step now is for us to do the WebSocket implementation. All right, so we are done with the implementation of the WebSocket configuration. We have also implemented the hot channel interceptor, that's for intercepting security, that's token coming from the front end. So the next thing we need to do now is to do the actual WebSocket implementation. Let's undo the sending of message, all right, using WebSocket. So now let's create a WebSocket service here, like this. So this will be a component, say attribute component, all right, because we are going to have a controller. So let's inject the chat service here, private final chat service. All right, so let's say private static final logger. Let's say logger. We are using logger from SLF J. Let's see, let's import logger for SLF4G. That's it. So logger factory dot get logger. All right, so we're going to say WebSocket service dot class. So that's that. So now let's have this public method for sending message. Let's say public void send message. All right, so it is going to take a message request. It's going to take a message request, and it's also going to accept principal as the argument. This method, the reason why this method is accepting principal is that we need to be sure of who is sending the message. All right, we want to be sure that it's actually the logged in user that is sending the message. So we are going to try to validate. We are going to say if principal dot get name is equals to null. So we are actually going to validate the principal right now. We are going to say if principal is equals to null, or not principal dot get name dot equals get name dot equals request dot get sender. So if it is not the sender, so we want to throw new security exception. All right, so we are going to say unauthenticated, unauthorized user. Let's put it this way: unauthorized user, or let's say user not authorized. Let's say user not authorized. All right, so let's try an exception like this. All right, so the next thing we need to do is to, before we even send the message to the user, we need to save the message to our own local database. All right, so that's why we're going to say chat service dot save chat. So we want to pass in the request, so we're going to save the chat, then it's going to return a response. All right, now let's construct the message destination. String receiver destination will be equals to, all right, /q / then plus request dot get get receiver. So let's also inject this simp messaging template, all right, that we use to send messages to the receiver. So let's say private finance simp messaging templates. Let's say simp messaging templates. So let's add it to the constructor. Let's say @auto wire. So we are going to say simp messaging template dot convert and send. All right. So now we are going to pass the destination, receiver destination, and then the message we are sending, all right, which is the response. Sorry, which is this response. All right, so this is the message we are actually sending. That's all. All right, so then let's add a log statement to say that logger.info, let's say message successfully forwarded to the recipients. All right, so let's request let's say request dot get receiver, like this. So this is very, very simple. There is nothing much here. It's just simple and straightforward. So after doing this, let's now have our, because we are going to have our controller class, all right, so that is where that will be the main entry points for our chat application when it comes to sending of message. So let's say WebSocket controller. All right, so sorry, I misspelled this. Let's refactor. Let's say WebSocket. Okay, let's make this uppercase. WebSocket controller. So this will be a controller. Let's say attribute controller. Why am I always doing this? Attribute controller like this. So let's say private final. Let's inject that WebSocket service here. Leave it here, WebSocket service. So after doing this now, so the next thing, let's now say public void send message. So we are going to annotate this with attribute messaging, attribute message mapping, or map by /send. So that's what we'll map our messages to, /send. So this is going to take attributes payload. All right, so the payload will be the message request. Then we are going to pass our principal like this. So we can then say our WebSocket service the send message. So sorry, let's add a variable for this. Yeah, so we can now pass a request and then we'll pass a principal. So that's all for our WebSocket implementation. This is all for the backend. All right, unless if there is any error and there's any fix we need to we'll come back to the backend. So now let's go to the front end and implement the WebSocket for our front end.